a war machine! I am a war machine!
Okay, this is a materials list for assembling your miniatures. This should apply to any modeling that you're ever going to do involving Reaper, Citadel, Malifaux, whatever company of models that you choose. I have an orc here for demonstration purposes. So let's get into it. This will run you through pretty much everything that you will need to purchase or find in order to properly assemble a miniature of metal or plastic and on any scale, with the exception of maybe a clamp or something. This is, by the way, the necessary list. There are additives and things like that you can use, like Quickset for super glue, so that it, or Instaset, so that it dries immediately. But we're not going to worry about that. This is your basic list. So, starting off, this is a bottle cap. This is what you will need to affix your model to for painting or assembling. Primarily, this is ready for when you're going to paint it, because you stick it on top of the bottle cap and you're ready to paint. That way you don't have to, hold the model here or try to get around your finger, basically touch the model everywhere. So you don't have to do that. And for that, you need this stuff. This is what's going to help you attach it to the bottle cap. This is something we call poster putty, which is actually what I use to keep the posters up in my room, so that I'm not neglecting its designated purpose. But you take a small little blob of this stuff, you stick it on the bottom of the base, and you stick it on the bottle cap. Ta-da! Now, the model doesn't come off. See, any amount of shaking, model is stuck on. So this is poster putty. They call it Blu-Tac. I get my yellow stuff from Michael's here in the U.S. I'm not sure where to get it overseas, but you can use a hot glue gun or something like that if you need to. But poster putty works the best because it's reusable forever. Next up, this is a pair of tweezers. If you're assembling something like the classic Orc Killicans, which has very small bits, and you put some super glue on it, you want to hold the bit and apply it with precision. Tweezers should not be hard to find. This here, this is polystyrene cement, which is plastic glue. I use the blue stuff because it's non-toxic, and if I'm eating a bag of chips or something at the same time, I don't know, in case I'm messy, I don't want to have to worry about eating it. For those of you who are stuck with GW, it's the same stuff, plastic glue. This is like $7 a bottle. This is like $2 a tube. It's a little fiddly sometimes coming out of the nozzle, but overall it works just as well. And this is 0.7 ounces, and this here, 5/8 fluid ounce, about 0.6, it's about the same amount. But you pay $3 for this, $2 for this, $7 for this. Getting into the hobby knife, I prefer the breakaway kind. As you can see, there are tiny little indentations here. That's because at the bottom of this, there's a little groove right in here where my nail's at, which you can use to break off each one of these and essentially get, like 11 blades out of this. Because when do you ever use the full hobby knife blade? This is about $1 at a hardware store. I don't recommend getting the X-Acto blades because replacing those blades can get expensive. These are used for cutting mold lines off, extra bits of flashing. Let's see if I can find a mold line on this thing. This is actually my friend John's model. So, with the light over. This camera is not suited for miniature painting, by the way. This right here, there's a little line here. Since he primed these, I have to go back and reprime it after I take the mold line off with this. I'll demonstrate how to do that when I actually assemble a model. The same purpose, files. This is a file that comes in a set. There's a number of these in the set. Mine comes with a handle. so that I can, move it. It's a little more comfortable to use. They're very cheap. I recommend you pick some up. Primarily for metal models, you don't usually need it for plastic models. And they're handy to have around. Green stuff, I'm only showcasing the GW green stuff because it's easier to fit on the table, and because I have it. This is about $8. This is about $8. So, possibly $10 for this. Either way, the sheer volume is much greater in this. I get this from Eagle and Empire at my local hobby store. You could probably get the same thing from DaemonWargaming or really any other decent hobby supplier. What have I gone over? Clippers, primarily for plastic models. This will help you get it off the sprue. It's got a flat side, and it's got a side that goes inwards. Always point the flat side towards the model. So if you're cutting this guy's sword off for whatever reason, and you want this area here to be flat, you put the flat side against it and you cut. When it's on a sprue, generally you'll have the arm is still attached to the sprue. Sprue will be on this side, model will be on this side, and you cut, and there you go. You have your piece. Lastly, or second to lastly anyway, this is a drill, also known as a pin vise. It comes with a chuck. Usually a couple drill bits come with it that are about the width of a standard paperclip, a little bit bigger so you can actually fit the paperclip in the hole it makes. This is really only necessary for drilling out gun barrels or assembling metal models, because metal models, super glue tends to be very brittle eventually, and it falls apart easily. This will simply increase the strength of the join, as will green stuff, which, as I forgot to explain green stuff. Green stuff is used for gap filling, sculpting, but for our purposes it's used for gap filling and holding pieces together, because a pin with some green stuff, with some super glue, that part's not going anywhere, ever, unless you forcefully rip it off. So this is about $10. You can buy it from GW for about the same price. I just bought mine because I support my local merchants. It's a useful tool to have, although drill bits are hard to come by. When I find a supplier for drill bits, I'll let you know. Paperclips. These are useful for pinning models. You cut off a little bit here. Say this was a metal orc. You put a piece inside of his shoulder here. Put a piece inside of his arm here. Or not a piece. You drill a hole in his arm. You fix them together when you get the right length. That join is made all the stronger. It's much like putting an actual skeleton on your model. Again, I will demonstrate when I actually am not doing a materials list. Super glue, as I didn't go over, this should really need no explanation. I buy Gorilla Super Glue because it's $5 for this, as opposed to like the $8 or $9 that GW sells there for, and it's really the same thing. There are additives that you can use, not additives, but like Insta-Set and things like that, that set super glue faster. I never saw an actual point to that, because I just hold it in place. But I guess if you're impatient, that's what you do. So, like I said, this here, all this is a list of materials that you will need to get started assembling models. This has nothing to do with painting. This is just filing off mold lines, assembling the model, clipping the model off the sprue, making the joint stronger, filling in any gaps, placing hard to reach bits. In general, when you get done with all that, you need this to affix it to a base so that you can handle the model and it can charge at you. Rawr. Or orcs say wah. But anyway, that's your list. If you have any questions, leave me a comment, send me a message. I'll answer things as best as I can, and I'll give demonstrations about the use when I actually go into an assembly video. So, take care, you guys have a good day or night, and I'll see you in the next video.